Star Trek has never been a stranger to death.
Stench.
That being said, in older Star Trek, death has generally been sterilised or never really shown as very visceral.
Your minds call it death.
He's gone.
That being said, modern Star Trek has a bit more action deaths than in previous iterations. But with the exception of some rather vividly pink scenes from Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, I feel that Star Trek The Next Generation episode Conspiracy showed one of the most gruesome and visceral scenes from Star Trek at that time. The story of Conspiracy actually begins a few episodes earlier in the first season episode Coming of Age. Admiral Quinn and Dexter Remick board the Enterprise. Something is wrong, but they won't elaborate as to what. The elderly flag officer and his aide regard the Enterprise and her crew with a great deal of suspicion.
I have reason to believe that there may be something very wrong on this ship. Mr. Remick, Starfleet is counting on you. You will find out what is wrong on this ship.
Yes, sir.
They fully investigate the ship, as well as interrogating the crew, and Admiral Quinn would ultimately go on to reveal that something is massively wrong within Starfleet.
Some of us at Starfleet Command became suspicious of certain problems in the Federation. Someone or something is trying to destroy the fabric of everything we've built up in the last 200 years.
He would offer Jean-Luc Picard a promotion to Admiral, as well as a new job as the head of Starfleet Academy, as Quinn needs people around him that he can trust in positions of power.
I need people I can trust in strong positions throughout the Federation. I want to promote you to Admiral, and I want you to take over as Commandant of Starfleet Academy.
Picard turns down the promotion.
Wish I could convince you to change your mind.
The story threads of this episode would later be picked up in the episode Conspiracy.
Something is beginning. Don't trust anyone. Remember that, Jean-Luc. Don't take anything for granted.
Odd fleet movements and personnel transfers throughout Starfleet lead Mr. Data to believe that someone is engaged in a clandestine attempt to control Federation sectors as a prelude to a possible invasion. Jean-Luc Picard's old friend Walker Keel would be killed in an accident that would completely destroy his ship. Picard decides that a trip to Earth and a visit to Starfleet headquarters is most definitely in order. Upon the Enterprise's return to Earth, Picard encounters truly bizarre scenes at headquarters as admirals, captains, as well as their security entourage begin consuming live insect larvae for dinner, culminating in shootouts, death, and ultimately the discovery that a form of telepathic queen alien parasite thing had been pulling at the strings in the background to destabilise the Federation. This queen inhabiting and possessing Remick, controlling parasites that had infected officers throughout the Federation as well as the admirals which Picard met with. Despite giving the statement that the aliens seek peaceful coexistence,
We mean you no harm. We seek peaceful coexistence.
Picard and Riker decide to bring this thing to an end in a very gung-ho and James T. Kirk-like manner. This episode would end with the revelation that the Queen inhabiting Remmick had activated a homing beacon that could lure more of the parasite creatures to Earth.
Captain, I have attempted to trace the message Remmick was sending. I believe it was aimed at an unexplored sector of our galaxy.
Any idea what the message was, Data?
I believe it was a beacon.
A beacon?
Yes, sir. A homing beacon. Sent from Earth.
In Prime Star Trek canon, this storyline hasn't been followed up on, but in beta canon, it was followed up on in Star Trek Online, as well as in the podcast Star Trek Excelsior. Apparently this storyline was supposed to be a form of arc that would introduce the new threat, but this was all reworked, and would later become the Borg. They would be introduced in the Season 2 episode Q Who. At the time, Remmick's death would perhaps have been one of the most gruesome scenes in Star Trek. So gruesome, in fact, that the BBC would cut it when they aired the episode.
We seek peaceful coexistence.
Captain's log, stardate 41780.2. How difficult after all these years of learning to respect life to be forced to destroy it. But there seems to be no alternative.
Aw, that's a shame. I was looking forward to seeing that. I absolutely loved this scene when I was a kid, and it's most definitely something that has stuck with me in my Trekkie mind ever since. Good night.